Benjamin Franklin once said, "If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail." Unfortunately, we see so many young aspiring mangakas fall into this trap. They're excited to draw, to show their stories to the world, but they skip such crucial steps in the beginning phase of manga production. One of these steps that gets overlooked, the storyboarding process. It's tedious. It's time-consuming. No wonder so many beginner mangakas just want to gloss over it. What's even worse is that this part of the manga process is not talked about enough. As we've mentioned in our previous videos, you cannot skip this step. As a mangaka, you're not just an illustrator, you're not just a writer, but you're also a producer. Your storyboard provides an overview of your ideas for this whole episode. You find a balance in your panels and composition. You visualize the scenes, the angles, the dialogue. You determine the pacing of your story, the flow of each page. How do you captivate your reader across each spread? There is an art to storyboarding. If you want to know how to do it, then stick around until the very end because we're going to share 5 tips on how you can effectively storyboard your next manga. If you're a beginner mangaka aspiring to get your story and message out there, then this is the place to be. We help you from feeling lost and overwhelmed to feeling motivated and inspired to creating your own manga. If you want to learn more manga creation tips, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. In case you want to go through your manga journey with the guidance from pro mangakas and a supportive community of fellow aspiring mangakas, then you can click the link in the description. You can sign up to our waitlist for our online one-shot manga drawing program. We will be taking on new students later this year. If you want in, make sure to stay tuned for our announcements. To make a good storyboard for your manga, you're first gonna need a script, or at the very least, a rough outline of your plot. A lot of beginners end up with such elaborate and complicated story ideas that it ends up becoming too overwhelming and almost impossible to finish. Start with a short one-shot where you can actually practice creating a story with a proper beginning, middle, and end. It may sound simple and boring, but trust us, it's actually more difficult than it seems. Here are some methods you can use to write plots. We'll be using the first chapter of One Piece as an example. The first method is creating your story in bullet points from the beginning until the end. Here's an example. In a small village, there's a young boy named Luffy who wants to be a pirate. Pirates arrive in Luffy's village. Luffy befriends these pirates and asks them to bring him out to sea with them. Luffy eats one of the treasures the pirates stole, the gum-gum fruit. He's now a rubber person. Luffy gets in trouble with bandits and gets fed to a sea monster. The pirate leader, Shanks, saves Luffy but loses an arm. Years later, Luffy sets out to sea, declaring his dream to become the king of the pirates. The second method is writing out scenes you want to draw the most. These are usually the major plot points in your story. Once you have your scenes, you connect and rearrange them, filling in the blanks in between to make the story flow better. For example, I imagine a scene where the main character, a young boy, gets fed to a sea monster by bandits. A scene where the MC's limbs stretches out like rubber. A scene where a pirate saves the main character while losing an arm. A scene where a young boy in a small village expresses his dream to become a pirate. Do you notice that in both methods, the scenes are written out in simple sentences? You have to learn how to express your ideas in concise, easy to understand sentences like this. It's not enough to just have them all locked up in your head. In case you have to share your ideas with your editor or illustrator, then they can digest it right away. Whatever method you use to decide to write your plot, just remember that in order to create an exciting story, you need to divide it into 4 parts: the introduction, development, twist, and conclusion, or ki, sho, ten, ketsu, as it's called in Japanese. Before you even start storyboarding, you need to know how many pages in total you want your story to be. It's easier to have the pages in multiples of 4, like 8, 20, 32, 36. It's just easier to print and publish that way. If you want to join a manga competition, aim for 16 pages as your standard. You'll be able to join most competitions with this number. For example, the Silent Manga Audition limits entries to 8 to 17 pages, while the Kyoto International Creators Award requires 16 to 45 pages. Once you know how many pages you'll be working with, you can decide how many pages you allot for each section. You need to be able to strategically plan out a complete but also interesting story in just a limited number of pages. So think, how many pages do you dedicate to the introduction, to the development, to the climax? During the storyboarding process, you can actually adjust as needed. Like if you want to adjust the pacing of the story, you can add or remove a page from certain sections and add it to another. Ask yourself, would this scene be better placed somewhere else? Do the panel layouts across the spread seem redundant? Is my intro too boring and crammed with too much dialogue? Try to imagine how your readers would enjoy your manga. Let's go back to imagining building a house. You've got your blueprints for the bedrooms, bathrooms, living room, and kitchen. And now you want to see exactly where you should place these parts to make the overall blueprint of your dream house. A blueprint of blueprints, if you will. A mini storyboard is just like that. It's the storyboard of your storyboard. A mini storyboard involves drawing your entire manga into thumbnails. If your manga is 16 page total, then you have to draw all 16 thumbnails. The thumbnails are usually very rough sketches. It helps you visualize the page layouts and sizes of your panels. You can even skip inserting sketches of the more minor panels and leave them blank. Each mangaka usually has their own unique process, and there's no perfect way to do this. When you create your thumbnail, you want to make sure it's easy for you to visualize all the pages so you can easily see the flow and composition of your manga. You can put them all on a B4 size paper, or if you want to draw them a bit larger and would need more than one sheet, you can put the papers side by side so you can actually get an overview of the whole thing. If you're doing this digitally, you can probably just zoom out of your canvas to get a better look. When creating your thumbnails, we recommend always doing 2 pages together to represent your spread. In case you don't know what a spread is, this is a spread. The right and left pages of a manga together is called a spread. Mangakas consider a spread as one illustration. Your reader's eye movement starts from the top right, and you have to make sure they can navigate through your panels, dialogue, and artworks smoothly until the end of the spread on the lower left. Good panel flow is crucial in creating a smooth and exciting reading experience for your readers. For example, look at these pages from Haikyuu chapter 188. As this chapter nears the end, the mangaka builds tension not only through the artworks, speedlights, and shading, but also through the use of different panel shapes and layouts. You feel a certain rhythm in his paneling, especially on the left page of the spread. When you get to the very last panel, it feels like a cliffhanger. You want to know what comes next, so you turn the page. You're met with these large panel illustrations with the big reveal. The Karasuno team taking the winning shot against the once unbeatable Shiratorizawa team. This reveal was a huge plot point that confirmed our protagonists were moving on to nationals. The mangaka gave this special moment the attention it deserved by utilizing the whole spread so the reader can really see what happens. This is only one of the many ways you can build interest and rhythm in your manga. And that's precisely where storyboarding comes in handy. Overseeing panel sizing and layouts in your mini storyboard can help maintain a consistent quality and rhythm throughout your manga, but also help you deliver a dynamic and gripping storyline. When you're reading manga, do you sometimes skip all the long exposition to get to the really good juicy parts? I admit, I've done that quite a few times. When you're establishing your story, it can be pretty challenging to figure out how to explain the setting, introduce your characters, and mechanics of your world without it turning into a boring exposition dump. One of the most common techniques to hook your readers is to start with the climax of the manga at the very first few pages and then work backwards as to how they even got there. Take this opening chapter from Hajiotsu. There's a big dramatic confession scene in the very first spread. When you flip the page, you're immediately taken back in time to see how the female lead got to that point in the first place. Honestly, there's nothing revolutionary about this kind of love story. It's pretty standard for shoujo manga, but the confession scene usually doesn't come until later in the story. This kind of unusual approach makes it a bit more interesting. The way you arrange events in your story helps you create tension and build curiosity. Presenting everything chronologically can be a bit boring. You can introduce unexpected plot twists with flashbacks or backstories. After you've created your mini storyboard and you kind of feel the story is looking a bit too flat, you can still rearrange the sequence of events. Don't be scared to make such bold edits. Our pro mangaka mentor, Nao Yazawa, says that your first draft is usually never the final one. So challenge yourself to improve your manga while you're in the storyboarding phase. Have you ever had those moments when you make a sketch and it looks so good, you don't want to do the line art anymore? I mean, you already like what you see. Why mess it up? The same thing goes for overdoing the art during the storyboarding phase. When you've already put in that much effort in your drawings, sometimes it's hard to edit or start all over again. The thing is, you don't want to be limited by that kind of attachment to your art. There's so many different ways a scene could play out, so many different angles, perspectives, panel compositions. If you end up considering only one version because it would make you feel bad redoing your art, then you might be missing out in creating a much better story. The solution? Use super simple art while in the storyboarding stage. And don't be afraid to edit. Storyboarding is the perfect time to rework your panels, speech bubbles, and illustrations as many times as you like without having to worry about being messy. For example, if you look at these storyboards from Hirohiko Araki's manga Jojo Lion, you can barely understand them at one glance. I mean, it literally looks like chicken scratch. But hey, it works for Araki-sensei. It helps him flesh out his ideas, and that's exactly what storyboards are for. You can have a cleaner version of this when you're presenting it to your editor or getting your audience's opinion, but when it's for your eyes only, you can have it really simple and messy like that. Araki-sensei was able to transform this into this. Amazing, right? So again, when you storyboard, don't concentrate on your character's outfit or hair or accessories or even the details in your settings or backgrounds. Focus on your character's placement, their expressions, their dialogue, the page layouts, and the camera angles. See how you can convey the right message and emotions to drive your story forward and make it impactful for your readers. Araki-sensei may be able to turn chicken scratch into stunning illustrations, but as a beginner with barely any manga creation experience, you'll need to flesh out your storyboard sketches a bit more. They can still be messy, but draw out these three things: facial expressions, character position, and camera angles. If you look at both versions of the same scene, which do you think conveys emotions better? The one on the right or the one on the left? This one, right? This scene gives off a clear impression because you can see the character's facial expressions. If you were to use this scene on the left in your storyboard, it would still be a bit vague. When you look at it as you're drawing out your final sketches a few days later, you'd run the risk of forgetting what you actually wanted to draw. You'd be wasting your time asking yourself,
what kind of expression did I think worked again? What was the mood I was aiming for?
If you already have the expressions drawn out, it's just easier to remember later on. Besides facial expressions, you need to also draw your scenes where you can clearly see the character's positions and camera angles. Let's compare these two samples again. The scene on the left shows two circles representing characters A and B, and a bit of dialogue, but nothing more. No specifications on what they're doing or what perspective the scene is in. Like the previous example, this scene is a little bit vague. They could be in a cramped closet or lying down in bed or even underwater for all you know. But if you were to compare that to the scene on the right, it makes way more sense. Characters A and B are roughly drawn out facing each other in a room with a table and window. The camera angle is from the top right. If you can't draw and you plan to get an artist on board, you can also just write out a description of the scene. Ultimately, as the mangaka, you decide the vision and direction of your story. Having these key elements like expressions and camera angles fleshed out during your storyboarding phase will help you translate your ideas better when you transition to your final sketches. If you want to take your manga journey to the next level and work with pro mangakas in creating your first one-shot manga, then make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to our YouTube channel so you can join our one-shot manga drawing program the next time we open our doors for new students. In the meantime, you can check out this video to learn more about how you can make your manga even more interesting.